behind the killing of 2 Ghanaians in South Africa as it brings home hundreds of nationals caught up in renewed xenophobic attacks.
There to be justice, and we will continue to demand thorough investigations, arrests, and prosecution of those who killed our beloved 2 compatriots.
More as it assures returnees of financial and reintegration support.
We hope that they would also do better in managing this crisis, reining in those who are running amok, who are attacking, killing, looting shops. That is not the kind of Africa that we deserve.
We have details as Foreign Affairs Minister calls on South African authorities to do more to protect Ghanaians and end the attacks. Also, Narcotics Control Commission (NACOC) threatens prosecution as it warns students and parents following JoyNews' documentary Deadly Doses 2, Ghana's Growing Drug Crisis, which exposes how drug traffickers are shifting from hidden ghettos to schools and university campuses using new tactics to target young people.
All those who get themselves involved in this and are picked, prosecution is your next option, whether you like it or not. And let me sound this more or less a caution to parents. If your children are involved in this, if there is any advice to give to them, the advice is to warn them to desist from this.
We have details on our latest Hotline documentary in business.
Transport operators push for a 30% hike in fares due to rising prices of petroleum products.
In sports,
Ghanaian sprinters Abdul Rashid Saminu and Benjamin Azamati handed tough 100-meter men's draw in the 2026 Commonwealth Games.
And later, the Ghana Health Service says the rise in throat cancer isn't just about smoking, as officials warn that oral sex is fueling a surge in HPV-related cancers in the throat. More on that later in the bulletin. And on your say,
would a vending machine make it easier to practice safe sex? We tell you why the Ghanaians Commission is betting on condom vending machines as part of its latest strategy to reduce new HIV infections. Well, you can be part of the conversation. Do share your thoughts with us on WhatsApp 055 11 11 997, 055 11 11 997. You can send via text or via voice notes. Do keep them brief and within 20 seconds.
The details of these stories and more now. The government of Ghana is demanding justice for 2 Ghanaians killed in the xenophobic attacks in South Africa as a second batch of nationals fleeing the violence arrives home today. Foreign Affairs Minister Okudzeto Ablakwa says government will continue to demand thorough investigations, arrests and prosecution of those responsible for the deaths of Bashiru Isaac and Kojo. The body of Isaac has been received in Ghana, while government says it is still awaiting the remains of Kojo.
To the South African authorities that the 2 Ghanaians, Mr. Bashiru Isaac and Mr. Kojo, there to be justice, and we will continue to demand thorough investigations, arrests, and prosecution of those who killed our beloved 2 compatriots, Mr. Bashiru Isaac, whose body we have received, and Mr. Kojo, whose body we are yet to receive.
My colleague Stephen Mensah was at the airport today and joins me in studio with more. Stephen, government is also engaging South African authorities over properties, shops and other assets left behind by Ghanaians who fled the attacks.
Yes, Gemma, and this is becoming an important part of government's response because government says these attacks have gone beyond physical safety and Ghanaians have reportedly lost businesses, shops, homes and other investments because they had to flee the country. And government says it is actively engaging the South African authorities and has put together a legal team to pursue the concerns of affected Ghanaians. And the Foreign Affairs Minister, in fact, says government is also pursuing its petition before the African Union and will explore all available channels to ensure that Ghanaians who are deprived of their properties, shops and other life investments can be properly compensated. When government first announced the evacuation in May and June, a total of 980 Ghanaians arrived. So this is significant because many of those who are returning have lost their property. We can listen to Foreign Affairs Minister make that point.
I want to announce that as we did for your compatriots who came earlier in the first round of evacuations, we are going to hand over to you travel allowances. We will also hand over to you reintegration allowances to everybody. We are not changing, we are not reducing. It is the same package because you are all valuable Ghanaians who we cherish and we adore very much. You do not have to continue to worry after all the trauma that you have gone through. I also want to assure you that those of you who have left behind property, shops, valuable assets, we continue to engage with the South African authorities, and we have put together a legal team. You are aware of a petition at the African Union, and we are going to explore all available channels to make sure that this clear violation of your fundamental human rights, the deprivation of your properties, your life investments, that you are well and duly compensated.
So, Stephen, the Foreign Affairs Minister has also renewed calls for an end to the attacks.
Yes, Gemma. And there's a context to this. On June 1, 2026, government advised its nationals, and that's the Ghana government advised its nationals to avoid non-essential travels to South Africa because of the increasing attacks targeting African migrants. Now, the ministry has said that the violence had resulted in injuries, looting, and some closure of some shops. So this is not happening in isolation. South Africa has actually experienced some recurrent xenophobic violence over many years. So with this current context, the reporting and every violence that has been recorded, the government of Ghana says that the message is quite direct. South African authorities must protect foreign nationals, investigate the attacks, prosecute perpetrators, and prevent further violence. And the Foreign Affairs Minister actually makes a broader point about Pan-Africanism. South Africa and Ghana are both major players on the continent. So if these African countries are talking about integration and free movement, then African citizens must be able to live, work, and do business safely across all African borders. So importantly, the Foreign Affairs Minister is trying to distinguish the perpetrators. He says that South African authorities should distinguish the perpetrators from the ordinary South Africans, saying that he does not believe the majority of South Africans support the attacks and is calling for those who were involved in the attacks to be brought before book. You can listen to him.
Last week, President Mahama granted audience to a special delegation sent by President Ramaphosa to come explain the migrant crisis and to seek rapprochement and to seize and ease tensions. That was the objective of the visit, as we were told. In the discussions, it became clear from what they themselves told us that Ghanaians are law-abiding, Ghanaians are not criminals, and that when you look at the statistics, Ghanaians are the least in terms of suspects, criminal cases, and those who are even in prison in South Africa. We really are not a country of concern. And that is what they themselves confirm. So we will continue to hold talks with the South African authorities to ease tensions. We hope that they would also do better in managing this crisis, reining in those who are running amok, who are attacking, killing, looting shops. That is not the kind of Africa that we deserve. This whole xenophobic attacks casts a very bad image of our continent, and we hope that they will take steps to quickly remedy the situation, so that when we talk about Pan-Africanism, when we talk about African unity, when we talk about integration, we can live it by our conduct, not just by empty rhetoric or sloganeering. We must demonstrate it as citizens of Africa in what we do at all times.
So, Stephen, the minister also spoke about the number of people coming into the country, being evacuated. The last batch we are learning is coming today.
Yes, so Gemma, a total of 1,000 Ghanaians are expected to be evacuated from South Africa. And so far, we understand that 150 of these individuals have reached Ghana so far. But then the ministry is telling us that 1,000 of these Ghanaians will be brought to Ghana with the second batch. And we understand that the next batch will be arriving at 7 p.m. today.
Thank you very much, Stephen Mensah. Let's go to the phone line and speak to Professor Vladimir Entry Danso, an international relations expert. Welcome to News 9. The government of Ghana is demanding justice for 2 Ghanaians killed in their attacks in South Africa. Do you think this is possible for a thorough investigation to be done and arrest and prosecution of those responsible for the deaths of the 2, especially when we see the posture of South Africa in dealing with their attacks?
Thank you for having me. I think this is possible, and I think Ghana has taken the right path. In actual fact, when somebody loses his life in this manner, a call is made for, even if he were not a Ghanaian, they were not Ghanaians, whoever they were, if they were South Africans, proper investigation must take place and the culprits brought to book. So what Ghana is demanding is not from the moon. It's a normal thing. This is not the first time Ghana has done this. I draw your mind to a situation which happened some few years ago in the Gambia. 41 of our compatriots were killed under some mysterious circumstances. And the Yahya Jammeh did not want to accept it. Ghana referred the case to the ECOWAS and to the AU, and pressure was brought to bear on the Gambia. Investigations went on. And then Gambia accepted its fault. Compensations were demanded. So what we are demanding is normally done in international relations. It is normally done in bilateral relations. So I strongly suspect that Ghana has not done anything untoward. What we are asking for is normally asked for under such circumstances.
Are we going to see the light of day of the investigations and any arrest or prosecution of those responsible? Because, as I earlier mentioned, the posture of the South African government for many is very nonchalant. People are perpetuating their attacks in South Africa and the government seems unbothered or not doing so much to end their attacks.
That is what may seem to be what we perceive. But let us wait until they have not fulfilled our demand. And then another action is taken. Diplomacy grinds slowly, very slowly. But then that is the only option rather than demand something which cannot be met. Or neither can we send our soldiers to go and demand justice. So let us have the patience and see what the South African government would do. Already, Ghana has asked the AU to act. So let's be very, very patient. I gave you an example of what happened in the Gambia. We smiled finally because we got what we wanted. Let's see what happens. Whether they are nonchalant or whether they are playing footsie to the whole game, let's watch them. Because the fingers pointing at South Africa today is not good. It casts a slur on their foreign relations, and I think they would act.
So this night we are expecting the last batch of returnees, and we are asking how this is going to affect Ghana's long-term relations with South Africa.
Well, normally such dents don't spoil relations until we escalate the issues. It's a normal thing in international relations that one offends the other, they jaw or they even go to war, and finally they become friends. Look at Vietnam. Vietnam is one of the biggest friends of America today. But look at what Vietnam suffered. So let's be patient. I strongly suspect that our foreign ministry has done the right thing and they are on the right path. The pinches they are putting in are very good. And I believe that we'll get some good result. It's not going to cause a severance of relationship between us and South Africa. It's not going to do that. We are not going to recall our ambassadors. We're going to continue to jaw. We're going to demand that the proper thing be done. We would watch them do the proper thing. So I believe in diplomacy, and I believe that that is what Ghana has embarked upon. There are no insults yet. So,
well, the Minister of Foreign Affairs today said that this has dented the image of South Africa. the xenophobic attacks reported in that country. Do you agree? And how can they recover from this?
Obviously, any observer would know that there is a huge dent in the reputation of South Africa in the eyes of the international public. So in the court of public opinion, South Africa should feel very guilty. And of course, when you have a problem like this for your country, you do everything possible to wash it away, redeem yourself. And that's what I think South Africa is going to do. They will try to redeem themselves through other means. It happens normally in all circumstances. When we had our revolution, so-called revolution in the 80s in Ghana, look, the whole world looked at Ghana as a state which is very negative. Gradually, years passed by before we were able to redeem ourselves and gotten ourselves onto a democratic line. So yes, the nation has been seriously dented in the eyes of the global public, but they will have to redeem themselves through some other means. Before then, remember, they were very high on everybody's mind and agenda. Why? Because they were the boldest country to be able to drag Israel to the International Court of Justice for not xenophobic attack, but really genocide. It's the most serious thing. So they were high, now they are low. They will have to redeem themselves. It happens to every country at every time.
Thank you very much. Professor Vladimir Chidanso is an international relations expert.
Remember, you can also be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997. Share your thoughts with us. We will share them with the rest of the world. It can even be a voice note. It has to be 30 seconds and straight to the point. In other news this evening, Ghana's battle against illicit drugs is entering a dangerous new phase. The Narcotics Control Commission, NACOC, is warning that individuals, including students, caught selling or distributing illicit drugs on school and university campuses will be arrested and prosecuted as security agencies intensify crackdown on drug networks that are increasingly targeting the country's youth. The warning follows revelations in JoyNews' latest Hotline documentary, Deadly Doses Part 2, Ghana's Growing Drug Crisis, which exposes how drug traffickers are shifting from hidden ghettos to schools and university campuses, using new tactics to target young people, including disguising drugs in everyday products. My colleague Nana Boachi Adam has more in this Hotline documentary. Listen.
In 2025, JoyNews brought cameras into Tinker Island and Colombia, two of the notorious drug ghettos in the Ashanti region. We documented lives consumed by addiction. Authorities promised tougher enforcement. Communities hoped the crackdown would slow the trade. A year later, we returned expecting to measure progress. Instead, we uncovered a crisis that has become far more difficult to confront. It is spreading into schools and university campuses, into everyday food and drinks.
With the infuse, you have the edibles, you have the toffee, you have the sobolu. Basically, what you want to infuse it with, so like adding weed to something. So some people also want it mixed with like other things, like alcohol, strong alcohol, some other drugs, opium and things. And most guys, they see when they get high, that's when like they're able to like function well. That's how they're able to like steady, write their song, write their music, like do what they want to do.
These products rarely attract attention.
41% of our tertiary students are aware of active use of drugs on their campuses.
Parents are no longer only looking for wraps, pills, or smell of marijuana. They are now confronted with products that resemble everyday food.
Yeah, because they use it to cook, to bake. You go and eat any woman's chateau and you are not sure. Be careful. It may be mixed with all sorts of weed or other substances.
A year ago, Colombia stood as one of the starkest symbols of Ghana's drug crisis. It was here that JoyNews documented an abandoned settlement transformed into a marketplace for narcotics.
I am one type I take in much. I can take in like 70 boosters a day. I get high, I get to forget many things. I'm a mother, yeah? And then as a mother, depression is somehow part of us, you get it. So if you're a mother and you're taking this, it takes you far.
Rebecca is 25 years old. She's also a mother of 2. Inside Colombia, many know her simply as Bibi. Behind the addiction is a woman who still speaks about her children, still hopes to leave this place, and still recognizes everything she has lost.
When we say about time, there be a dream done so it starts from there. A bit clear off every thought like BB how we are.
Tinker Island presents a similar picture.
Very soon we may have to declare serious public concern for the rate at which our young persons are going to drugs.
We need to be called rehab now. 6 months, 3 months.
The challenge has been where to put them in terms of rehabilitation. It is very expensive housing these guys, some of whom don't even have where they live.
We are preparing a cabinet policy document where I want to go to cabinet to seek the cabinet approval so that we will now make it mandatory that nobody will be able to join the public service unless you go through drug tests.
Our borders are too much exposed. And so they come in, especially the synthetics, they come in at will. We try to dominate those areas, but how can we dominate an entire country when, we have so many porous borders?
There aren't enough psychiatrists, less than 100 for the entire country. So there should be more opportunities for people to train in the field of psychiatry.
It is a big problem that confronts us as a people. I say that just like Galam says, it's a problem. The problem of drug is widespread that we can't even imagine. And in every household, you have somebody who is abusing one substance or the other.
Looking at 2025 annual performance review, we are realizing that for all disorders, including addictions, the age category that topped was from 20 to about 49, which is largely the schooling to the working age group.
1 year after our first investigation, drugs remain, but the crisis has changed. It is no longer confined in the ghettos. It is reaching schools, campuses, and communities in ways that are harder to detect. The question now is not whether Ghana has a drug problem. It is whether the country's response can keep pace with an evolving threat.
And don't forget, you can catch the full documentary on all our social media platforms: WhatsApp, Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram. Deadly Doses, produced by Nana Boachi Yato.
Following the Hotline documentary, the Deputy Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission, NACOC, Alexander Chumberima, has issued a strong caution to parents whose children may be involved in drug-related activities, urging them to intervene before their children are arrested. He spoke on the Pulse earlier.
Where did we get to? That now even students can take it to the university, mix it with, as you were mentioning, with sobolo, with ice cream, with egg and pepper, and name them. And they are selling it to other students. That is where the challenge is. It's not an outsider. It's not a lecturer. It's not a university staff who is selling it to you. Rather, fellow students are selling it to their colleagues. How? But the good thing is that all those who get themselves involved in this things and are picked, prosecution is your next option, whether you like it or not. And let me sound this, this more or less a caution to parents. If your children are involved in this, if there is any advice to give to them, the advice is to warn them to desist from this. If you fail to do your part and get them to stay out, and they continuously engage in these things, no problem. But the day they will be arrested, please don't remember to call, because your calls will not save your child.
Deputy Director General of NACOC, Alexander Chumberima. Now, President John Mahama is pushing for the speedy passage of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers Bill, currently before Parliament, saying the legislation is critical to strengthening integrity and accountability in public office. Civil society organizations have for years called for the passage of the bill, which seeks to establish clear ethical standards and obligations for public officers. Delivering remarks on behalf of the President at the launch of Parliament's National Integrity Awards, legal counsel to the President, Marietta Brew, said the Mahama government remains committed to upholding the highest standards of integrity in public service.
I read recently from Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition that we lose about 3 billion cedis annually through corruption. What it means is that institutions of state, institutions of government cannot be strengthened with money. What it means is that the first step to strengthening our institutions is integrity and ethical leadership. On the part of government, we have two very critical initiatives that we have taken up. In fact, recently, Cabinet has approved what we call the NACOC, that is the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan, to replace the National Anti-Corruption Plan, which expired in 2024. And that, I believe, has been or will be submitted to Parliament very soon. Also before Parliament is the Code of Conduct for Public Officers Bill, which will direct all public officers on the kind of leadership we want to see in public service. And there will be consequences for those who flout the law. And I believe that very soon Parliament will deal with these two very important initiatives.
Meanwhile, former Supreme Court judge and chairman of the National Integrity Awards Committee, Justice William Atuguba, has raised concerns about what he describes as deeply entrenched corruption across various sectors of society.
This launch was not a mere ceremony. It has values which have been accepted and insisted upon, and that there's meaningful progress in our national life and the repellence of abject, horrible, deep-seated corruption in all facets of the life of this country. Our people deserve better. I thank you.
You had Justice William Atuguba. He's a former Supreme Court judge.
You're still listening to News Now here on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's talk about fuel, because fuel prices are expected to climb even higher in the coming days, with energy sector players warning that consumers should brace themselves for more pain at the pumps unless the government intervenes. The latest pump price adjustments have pushed petrol to about 14 cedis per litre at some filling stations, while diesel is inching towards the 18 cedi per litre mark. The hikes have also triggered fresh threats from transport operators who say they will increase fares by 30%, accusing the government of failing to respond to the relentless rise in fuel prices. Executive Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, Benicia, says the upward trend is far from over, insisting petroleum prices will continue to rise regardless of developments on the international market. Listen to him.
Sooner or later, every society discovers that trust is its greatest currency.
Apologies for the wrong sound there. Let's go on to the lines right now and speak to the CEO of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Riverson Opon. Dr. Opon, welcome to the program. Right, so we're technically in the second pricing window of July, awaiting the first August pricing window, but we're seeing increment at the pumps. Why is that happening, first of all?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. You see, I mean, it's happening now because of how the international prices are behaving. Probably the first time for a long while when such hikes happened, and we had to go to the pump prices and adjust things. Remember the first time this Iran-Israel war happened? We did not change any price for, even though we're just 3 days into the window, we had to wait because, and this also translates into what I've been always saying to you guys, that we pass on cost. oil marketing companies pass on cost.
Okay.
It is our duty to do that. So if you look at what is happening now, the BDCs are increasing their price. And I've witnessed BDCs increasing prices overnight. Some even doing, 2 or 3 times in a day. I wouldn't blame them. If the traders are increasing their prices, they would also do the same. And the OMCs cannot bear the cost always, because you will still come back and bash us that we are not being fair to the consumers. So we are passing on the cost, true cost, from the BDCs to the OMC, from the OMC perspective to the consumers now.
And are there any sanctions for OMCs that are not complying with the pricing window?
I don't know what you mean, but nobody is selling below the price floor, so we are complying.
Are we likely to see prices go up in the first pricing window for August?
Very, very possible. We should expect price go up. At the chamber, what we expected the BDCs to do was to give us the same price at the selling window previously, so that we can price same. At this window. And since this is changing, the changes you're going to see will be in relation to what MP had already given, right, in the price floor. And this also tells you that when the chamber was advocating that the authority to keep, for the authority to keep the price floor, it was in essence of it. Today, check it. No BDC or no MC, no MC is selling at the price floor for the past 2 windows. You understand what I mean? So ideally, this is the true price that is adequately enough for any OMC just to break even, or to get even a 1 peso as profit.
Dr. Riverson Upon, thank you very much for your time this evening. He's the CEO of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. It's now time for business, and George Weafe is here with the very latest. George, what's happening?
Well, coming up, transport operators push for a 30% hike in fares due to rising prices of petroleum products. An IMF board passes Ghana on final program review, paving way for disbursement of a little over $300 million, as well as approving the policy coordinating instrument request from the government of Ghana. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, Sinter's Tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal. You're welcome back to business on Newsnight. Let's now settle for the details. Now, transport operators are pushing for a 30% hike in fares. This is due to what the operators say is rising cost of operations, which has been compounded by rising fuel prices. Samuel Foreign speaks for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union.
At the close of the day, use all your money to go and buy fuel, and you not earn anything to take home. So where the fuel price is now, it's not helping at all. It's not helping at all. The driving sector is not happy about the current prices that we are seeing. Last week, we were proposing that the government should do something about the petroleum products. We don't normally rely on only petroleum products. We also consider the spare parts, the lubricants, and the taxes. As for the spare parts, we have been talking about it. The dealers don't want to reduce it, so we are not really been talking about it again.
Samuel Ofori speaks for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Now, Ghana has finally passed its final IMF program review, paving the way for the release of a little over $300 million that should hit Bank of Ghana's accounts in the coming days. There is more in the following Business Desk report.
The release of these funds this week comes after the executive board of the fund approved Ghana's set review, following a report submitted by the IMF staff in Washington, D.C. this afternoon. The approval could be described as timely, as these inflows may go a long way towards improving the Bank of Ghana's reserves, although only marginally. The reserves have declined by more than $1 billion over the past 2 months. We also learning that the board has approved Ghana's 2026 Article 4 consultation, a request for a waiver of non-observance of a performance criterion regarding the cost sharing of gold board operations, as well as the financing assurance review. For some market analysts, The approval will go a long way towards improving investor confidence in Ghana and could possibly influence an upgrade of the country's credit ratings from their current levels. Based on today's development, we can indeed say Ghana has now completed the extended credit facility program it signed onto in 2023.
And that is a business desk report. Now, mining firm Gov't says it remains committed to responsible mining, community partnership, and long-term investment in Ghana. The company, in a statement issued this afternoon today, said noted that recent media reports suggesting opposition to from the appeal to Divisional Council to the renewal of this mining lease doesn't reflect its long-standing relationship with the traditional authorities and host communities, as well as investment that it has made over the past 3 decades. To other story, Finance Minister Dr. Forson has maintained that he remains optimistic about achieving the NDA revenue target. And this is coming after it missed out on the half-year target by some 1.5 billion Ghana. It has raising fresh concerns about the ability of government to hit the NDA target of 223 billion Ghana cedis. But speaking on PMX, the minister argued that they are committed to pressing hard on the reforms to achieve this target.
Modernize Ghana's tax regime. The objective at the time was so clear. One, remove all nuisance taxes. And so, e-levy, betting tax, VAT on, motor insurance, all of that were removed. We actually reformed the VAT as well. We brought the effective VAT rate from 21.9 to 20%. We removed all the distortions. We, as much as possible, encourage businesses. And in doing so, what we've done is that businesses are able to do well and plow back some of their profit towards the growth of the company. And that is what we did in modernizing Ghana's tax regime. We did all of this without losing tax revenue as a percentage to Ghana's GDP. In fact, the truth is, between 2024 to 2025, Ghana's tax to GDP increased from 12.6% to 13.1%.
And that is the Finance Minister, Dr. Ato Forson. And if you had invested on the Ghana Stock Exchange, you've seen your return reach more than 70%, that is year to date, in terms of investments made on the Ghana Stock Exchange, both in financial stocks and other ordinary stocks on the market. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Kenneth.
Thank you very much, George.
Now, the Ghana Health Service says oral sex is significantly driving HPV-related throat cancer cases. Doctors say the trend is worrying. Ken has details. Ken, what are some of the symptoms for head and neck cancer?
So some of the symptoms, Gemma, include a persistent mouth ulcer that does not heal, a lump in the neck, persistent sore throat, difficulty in swallowing, change in voice, persistent ear pain, bleeding from the mouth or nose, white or red patches inside the mouth, unexplained weight loss, difficulty in opening the mouth. So these are some of the symptoms. But let's speak to somebody who knows more about oral sex. She is Dr. Owusua Ofe Dako. She is a medical officer at Kolebu. Dr. Owusua Ofe Dako, grateful for your time this evening. This is a question that has been lingering on the minds of many people. Is oral sex safe at all?
All right, so good evening once again, and thank you for the platform. So, is oral sex safe? Well, yes, it is safe in the sense that you do not get unwanted pregnancy from it, but you can still get sexually transmitted infections from oral sex, including the HPV virus, the herpes simplex virus, hepatitis B, and HIV, even though the HIV transmission risk is extremely low. And then you can also get chlamydia or gonorrhea or syphilis from oral sex. That's if your partner has it. and it has gone untreated. So yes, I won't say it's 100% safe. Yes, there are still some risk
So
associated with oral sex.
okay. So what's the best remedy? Abstaining from it or doing it but with caution?
So for those who come from a religious background, they would say abstinence is the way forward, is the best. But right now, with the current situation of things whereby you don't know what is going on even with your partners and your spouses, the unfaithfulness and all, we can't say categorically that abstinence, even though abstinence is the best way. But for those who want to go ahead and go for the oral sex, you need to understand that you need to protect yourself. You need to protect the person that is receiving from you. So my suggestion for those who want to have oral sex is you can use barrier protection. You can use barrier protection. You can get a condom and wrap it up, and then you do oral on penis. But some people will complain that it's like a toffee. When you're eating a toffee on a wrapper, it doesn't taste good.
Wow.
But that's one of the ways you can protect yourself, the condoms. There's another thing that you can get. I think the dentist should have it. Pharmacy should have it. It's called a dental dam. So this is a protection that you put in your mouth, and it protects you as you're giving oral sex from receiving any possible infection from the person receiving. Like you, the giver, it protects you, the giver, from the receiver. That's if the receiver is having any sexually transmitted infection and is not aware of or is gone untreated. The other thing too is if this is the person that you've been with for a long time and you guys are exclusive, you can do your regular STI screening. So I know that I am the only person you're sleeping with, you're the only person I'm sleeping with. We are not doing any side monkey business. What we can do is we go to the hospital, we do regular tests, because HIV, for instance, is not gotten only through sex. There are other means of getting it, even though sex is one of the major ways you can get it. So you do your regular STI screenings, you walk into any public health unit at any facility, you go to any lab, Lancet, other places, you tell them that I want to screen for ABC. They take your blood, and so in a few hours, sometimes in a few days, you have your results. And then once you're clear, you know that everything is smooth sailing from there.
All right, Dr. Ya Owusua Ofe Dako, thank you very much for that education there. Let's do sports, and Daniel is in the studio. Daniel, you were laughing throughout the interview. Why? What's happening?
I was on the phone with somebody. Let's go straight into the sports stories where Ghanaian sprinters Benjamin Azamati and Abdul Rashid Saminu, they've been handed challenging draws for the men's 100-meter semi-finals at the ongoing 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Now, after recording the fastest times in the heats, the two Ghanaians avoided being drawn in the same semi-final, but would each face stiff competition for a place in tomorrow's final. Azamati has been placed in the first semi-final, where he will line up against reigning African champion Emmanuel Eseme of Cameroon and Nigeria's Favor Ashi. Meanwhile, Saminu will compete in the second semi-final along with Wales's Jeremiah Azu, Nigeria's Kainsula Ajayi, and then the African record holder Ferdinand Omanyala. The men's semi-finals are scheduled to take place tomorrow evening before the final will happen immediately after that. There's some news in Italy regarding their technical director, Paolo Maldini. He has left his role as technical director of the Italian Football Federation following the decision not to appoint Andrea Pirlo as Italy's next head coach. Both Maldini and his advisor Leonardo, they quit just 16 days after the Federation made the official announcement of their appointment. Now, it was decided on Sunday, that was yesterday, that talks with Andre Pirlo, Maldini and Leonardo to be Italy's next head coach will not proceed due to Pirlo's links with a Russian gambling firm. And that decision did not sit well with Maldini and Leonardo, hence their decision to leave their role. And that's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Tonight, an unlikely comeback from the brink of elimination ends in victory as first-time contenders Enyan Dentra SHTS defied the odds to clinch the final qualification slot from the Central Regional Qualifiers for the 2026 National Science and Maths Quiz Championship. Trailing throughout much of the contest 9, the school looked destined for elimination before a remarkable turnaround in the riddle round, which propelled them past Asin State College, Apakrampa SHTS in Diaso SHS. For the team, the victory is a statement that they belong among the best.
It's overwhelming. It's unbearable. We feel very happy, and we are hoping we can qualify to the final stage. And with God by our side, we will win the National Science and Maths Quiz this year, 2026. And Enyan Dentra Senior High Technical School is winning the National Science and Maths Quiz. With them and with God, everything is possible. And
Interesting. This contest was very competitive. You were not even in their light. How do you feel?
I feel overwhelmed. God has done it so well.
Amazing! I'm very happy. Oh, I'm very happy and amazing. Is this something you expected?
Yeah, we are very happy because it has been a debate between our National Science and Maths Quiz team and our debate team. So every day when the debate team, when they go, they'll be winning, and us, we have been like losing, but today they are winning.
So, but this is the first time you've qualified to the national stage. Do you think that you can keep on with this performance?
Keep on, because people were expecting that we are going to lose, because the way they saw that we are losing, they were thinking of that. God somersaulted the contest, which made us win.
God did what?
Somersaulted the contest.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's always the grammar for me.
God somersaulted the contest. My colleague Ramad Bashir joins me live from Central Region with more. Ramad, we had students of Enyan Dentra SHTS. They've qualified for the national championship. Tell us about Wesley Girls, who have also secured qualification to the nationals.
Exactly, Gemma. As you mentioned, the Enya SHS students ended the Central Regional Qualifiers of this year's National Science and Maths Quiz. And just before their contest, Wesley Girls had a very easy contest with the two schools that they met, which they were able to secure a 70 points, and also became the first school to actually get the Goyo Bonanza, because they answered all 4 questions at the riddle round. I must say this particular victory was an easy one for Wesley Girls. But when I spoke to them, they tell me that this time around, they are back stronger with discipline, and they know that they will get to the finals and win the trophy.
With discipline and with all the training we have put in, we are hopeful that we are going to win this year.
Are you winning 2026 National Science and Maths Quiz Championship?
Once again, with discipline and the training we have put in, we are going to go very far. Thank you.
Prepared very well this time. We learned from our mistakes last time and will not repeat it again. First of all, I'd like to say that we are very excited for this win, and we'd like to give all thanks to God Almighty for this victory. Just as we sang in our school anthem, our school is built on God, and we know that our God is never going to fail us. Thank you.
Very interesting one there. They say God will never fail them.
Amen. Amen. Amen to that. Ramat, which competition is next, and which schools are involved?
So, Gemma, as we speak, the Central Regional Qualification actually has come to an end. And so from tomorrow, we are expecting the Western Region and the Western North. All of them will come to Infante Pem Senior High School to also battle for their own regional ticket to the national championship. This time around, we don't have the regional champions, the overall regional champion. But this is what we are. And interestingly, when these schools come, they are targeting the defending champions, of which it's in their school that we are holding the regional qualifiers.
Thank you very much. Ramat Bashir is reporting from the Central Region on the National Science and Masquerade Regional Qualifiers.
It's now time for my favorite segment of the show. It's time for your say, and Edem Kojo is here. Edem, what are people saying?
Before what people are saying, one day, Kenneth, we should do an a cappella of the ASIC tune.
Yeah, we should. Gemma, let's
go. Is it Poliwa or Poliwa?
Poliwa.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
But Kenneth, are you sure?
Very. But can't you hear?
It's Poliwa. It's Poliwa.
How the two of you cannot even agree on whether it's Po or Ko.
It's Poliwa.
Anyway, so we'll go back and we'll check if it is Po or Ko. Yes, but this is what people are saying from today. Francis in Accra says, so MPP and its MPs, don't they know the more they come to talk about the media budget and economic issues, they are making floating voters and Ghanaians angry. Hey. He also comes back and says on the drugs issue in our SHS and universities, parents of such students should be held responsible. Then his last message on the fuel price issue, John Mahama should act fast with toll and some taxes again to cushion Ghanaians before the NPP jump on it. Now, Matilda from Keta says the Foreign Affairs Minister is working very hard to make Ghanaians enjoy the freedom, especially the xenophobic victims that left South Africa to come back to their homeland. Then also, Wisdom in Abozome says no African country should allow South Africa citizens into their country again to deter them from the bad action that they embarked on. Philip Yin from Tungu says the NDC will do itself good if Chairman General succeeds John Mahama with Atu as a running mate. Very interesting one there. Philip Abuchi in Keta says the Ghana government is doing well to bring Ghanaians from South Africa back home. This shows care for our citizens abroad. My humble suggestion is that the government should conduct proper screening and health or security tests for them before they are fully integrated into the country. This will help protect both the returnees and the people already here. And finally, this one from Nana Ukuyama Boatin in Ablakwa Central says, I don't expect this incompetent government to tell us that the current increases in fuel prices came as a result of the Israel-US war against Iran. They should remove those nuisance taxes on fuel. This would also reduce the burden on Ghanaians. So, Kenneth, these are the thoughts from our listeners.
Right.
Yes. So let's listen to this. Then, as usual, we'll have our conversations.
Wow. When did you get the song from?
Yeah, well,
that's Daddy Lumba,
right? That's the latest Daddy Lumba.
I want to hear the story behind the song.
Okay, so the last line here is real. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can do what you want to do, but it's a road. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this is that the Ghana East Commission, there's an agenda, I think 95 to ensure that all of Ghanaians, or the HIV prevalence rate comes down to about just about 5%, so 95% safety. And they realize that people are having sexual intercourse, but they don't like using rubber. Oh, sorry, they don't like using condom. So the Ghana East Commission says it's going to put out condom vending machines in public places, including churches, trotro bus stops, behind mosques, and football stadia, where you can just go, slot in a coin, and you can get 3 condoms for 50 pesos.
Interesting areas.
Yeah, so we went to town and then we decided to find out what people think about it. Let's listen to them.
I think it's okay because it will help people to just use the condom frequency so that it will bring down the ACE that is going up.
I wouldn't go for that because I don't want anybody to look at me and say, oh, she's obviously going for a condom. But I would like to go to the pharmacy, straight up, go for my condom and go where I'm going.
I think it's good for me to go to pharmacy. I need a condom. I want to buy a condom. And if it's distributing nationwide free, I think it's good to go.
We only want to have a lady for whatever situation you want to do. It's a secret. Why should be open to public? You walk to the pharmacy. Even when you are buying from the pharmacy, they write without the knowledge of the people over there. So to me, I'm disagreeing with that thing totally.
Wow.
Yeah. So these are the thoughts for that. Quick one, Gemma, would you patronize the condom vending machine?
You see, it's a secret, as he said.
How is it a secret? Oh, you could.
Okay, let me make the question easier. vending machine or pharmacy?
You see, I'm not the one who buys.
You are not the one who buys. Okay. Kenneth.
I'm not buying.
You're not the one
who
who
buys
buys.
it. Okay.
Kenneth,
okay.
condom vending machine or pharmacy?
You said?
Condom vending machine or pharmacy?
Later.
Anyway, so yes, I have there's an old song. Whenever I talk about it, there's this song that has been there 12 years ago. We'll listen to a set of it. I'm done and I leave.
And we end on that Shashamali song. Is it Shashamali or Sashamali? Sashamali. Yeah. The Mata Toy guy. That's it for News Night tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
Mine is Gemma. Appiah.
Don't forget to do the 2 brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent. Have a good evening.